This is African International Wire Network. Good to be back again. We have just 10 days to go. 10 days to go. 10 days to the elections. Are we ready? Well, as I said I will be doing my part. You can see what I wrote here. Vote Obi Dati, Papa Mama Pikin. That is what we want to do. Vote Obi Dati, Papa Mama Pikin. All right. So we have just 11 days, 10 days for the campaign, just for the campaign. Anyway, Obi has been in different places. Right now, you can see the one he's playing right now. Today he was campaigning the market. Obi he wants. People have been saying some people tweeting the room, but now you can see the people on ground right now. Okay, he said, "God is my ultimate. The Almighty God is my structure." That's what he said, and we are going to see it because he said, God is my structure and the people. So you can see the people behind right now. So now he's going to the grassroots to make sure the people that don't have a Twitter is reaching there right now. He was in Lagos, he was in Alaba Market, he was in the Computer Village, he was in Oshodi. So he's meeting the people right now. We have just 10 days to go. Now he's in the East right now, meeting the market people. Those other candidates, they don't do like this. They are not doing like this. You can see the love they are showing him. So much. Let's listen to the love. Let's just listen to what they are. All the screaming.
The people of Nigeria are going to be the winners of the 2023 election. The people of Nigeria have been.
Yes. As you watch, please kindly share, make comments, like the video, follow our page, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's important to do that. This is just this. It shows the love people are showing him. We have 2 days to go. Those in diaspora, I always tell you, please, let's do this. Let's push it, man. Let's push it. You can see many people right now. They are coming out. The entertainers, they are all coming out. Many people are coming out. Influencers are coming out to render their voice. To make sure this is the last push. We have 10 days to push. Push everybody. Push those people in the village. Push everyone there. Push everybody. Push everybody. Push everybody to make sure that the thing is done. Push everybody to make sure that the thing is done. Okay, it's important to push everybody. It's important to push everybody. Very, very important. So, again,
the mental captivity is over. And when we speak, they will hear us loud and clear. And on.
So let's, as I was saying, let's push to make sure everybody is involved, get involved. All right, and call your people back home to make sure they cast their vote. Not just casting their vote. Is Obi, and how they vote it is Papa Mama Pikin. Let them know it, which is very, very important. They should know it, Papa Mama Pikin. All right. So there is another thing today that happened. There was an audio leak. Some people that they were threatening the people living in that area that they should vote APC. If they don't vote APC, they will see what they will receive the repercussion. I will play the audio. I will just play for some minutes. This is not good. Elections will be free and fair. Nobody should impose anybody. Nobody should threaten anybody. It should be free and fair. Don't think you can threaten anybody. And I pray the police bring such person to book for him to threaten that if they don't vote for the candidate, they will deal with them. And the guy was even saying it's not a threat. I mean, why? He's threatening that you live in this area, you feed in this area, you make your money in this area, so you have to vote for the people. So now the police, they should look into it. And again, as I said, nobody should all the obedience. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. We cannot be coward. We cannot be scared. The more they threaten us, the more we get stronger. That's how it is, man. The more they threaten, the more we get stronger. The more we have, the more we have the courage to do more, to push more. All right. When they go, so it's like that. When you threaten, that means they are losing hope. When they are threatening, that means they were not expecting what they are saying now. That is the truth. All the parties, the PDP, the APC, they were not expecting what they are saying now. It's like a magic for them. What is happening? Like a dream. How come Labour Party? How come people have been treating the people that be treating in the room? Now they're outside. They are taken everywhere. Peter Obi has gone to all the 30 states in the country. It's the only politician that have done that. The rest have not been able to do that. He went to Zamfara, he went to Borno State, he went to Biu, to Mubi, those towns that politicians are afraid, even the indigenous are afraid to go because of terrorists. He's been there, because of Boko Haram, he's been there. It shows this is a guy, he knows what he's doing, he has the country at heart because he believes everybody is a Nigerian. He's not tribalistic. He's a guy that we need to vote for, okay? Now, I'll play the video for the audio, just the audio. I mean, let me play it. You will hear, you will hear it. Let me just play it now, then I will come back to that. I will come back to it, okay? Let me play it now.
Went viral over the weekend, recorded by yet to be identified persons. In the 11-minute audio clip, residents in Gbara, in the Etiosa local government area of Lagos State, were threatened to vote for the All Progressives Congress or risk eviction from the community. The spokesperson of the Lagos State Police Command, Benjamin Hundeyin, on Sunday confirmed that the police were carrying out a forensic analysis on the audio to identify those behind it. Let's take a listen to a short clip of the audio before we come back for a discussion.
How do you invest if you live in Europe, not America?
No.
Investing is not a way for the average European to get rich fast. Investing is not a side hustle to make...
The people of Nigeria are going to be the winners of the 2023 election. The people of Nigeria have been freed from the captivity that they have found themselves. The mental captivity is over. And when we speak, they will hear.
And when you are voting, you have your phone. You can snap the party you voted for. It's a secret ballot. You collect you do your bimodal, you take your card, you vote. When you vote, snap what you where you voted for. If you did not see APC there, you are in trouble. We will fight. Tell your daughter to snap it for you. Yes. I don't know, but what we are saying, this is not a threat. Let me tell you, it's not a threat, so we are telling you the facts. If you think you want to do on your own way, do it. We are not agreeing with you. It's not a threat. So wherever you are doing your business, you are able to feed your family, your wife, and send your children to school. Whatever they do in that place, you have to do it. Because if those people did not accommodate you, you won't be able to stay there and be doing your business. And that's what we are telling you. If you want to continue to do your business here and do it peacefully, harmoniously, and take the gains to your states, do what we want to do. Do what we have asked you to do. Go to the party that we have been going. Unlike before, we do go and beg. Please, we are not begging this time around.
Well, I had a chat with a police spokesperson, and he said that there'll be more details for the story later on in the day. But I mean, this is what is going on here. I cannot understand. If this man says that was not a threat to those people, I don't know what it is.
Of course it is a threat. And the police, I don't know what details the police claim that they are coming forward with. Forensic analysis of the audio. Which forensic analysis? Look, some of these spokespersons, what's his name again?
Benjamin Hundeyin.
Yes. Look, when they come to the public, let them at least, say something that will be believable. The community in the audio has already been identified as a Igbala community in Etiosa local government. The policemen in Lagos State saying they don't know where that community is. Two persons spoke in that audio that was 11 minutes, 34 seconds. a man who is described as a Bale, a traditional ruler
Yes.
of the area, and another man referred to as SHG, who was mandated by the Bale to complete the statement. So, I'm not a policeman, but I think common sense will suggest that that community haven't been identified, the persons haven't been identified. Why is the police wasting time? They should have gone to that community to go and pick up the leadership of the community to start with. But the problem we have here, and we've made this argument again and again, that the Electoral 2022, everyone praised it as a major breakthrough.
Absolutely.
But the problem is that the security agencies are not enforcing that act. And INEC is unable to enforce it because INEC says it is already overstretched, which is why the INEC is asking for an election tribunal that can deal with electoral offenses, as has been recommended, by panels and by other commentators on the subject. If you look at Section 93 of the Electoral Act 2022, it forbids violence in any shape. Has anybody been arrested in all the cases of violence that we have seen? The security agencies are nowhere to be found. Section 128 of the same Electoral Act talks about undue influence. You cannot threaten people, you cannot influence people. So the evidence in this video is that those two sections have been violated, and there are penalties. There are penalties in the law for those two offenses. Now, in that same audio, the people are saying, if you don't vote for our party, you cannot do business in this community, and that you will live with the consequences. They are even advising people to take phones to the polling booths.
Yes.
I hope INEC is aware, and that INEC will make sure that nobody takes phone to polling booths to be taking pictures, to go and show community leaders who are threatening violence. And then on top of it all, the SSG man said they were mandated to come and tell members of their community that this is how they must vote. And the Bale said, look, don't jeopardize his future and the future of his children. No.
Yes.
So there's selfish interest there. The question for the police is, who mandated them to go and threaten people to vote in a particular manner? The real danger here, the real fear, is that this may not be the only community where this is happening.
Absolutely.
It may be happening everywhere. Only God knows the number of traditional rulers who have threatened, in some cases, to take people's wives, forcibly, if they don't vote for the party of their own choice. That's not democracy. That's feudality.
All right, we've been talking, and I'm going to take two stories before I come to you so we can discuss all. We've been talking about, you mentioned voters cannot be induced. I've been getting videos, if you can pull those videos up, of, the APC sharing all of these, I don't know what to call them, souvenirs on social media. And here is one Taylor who actually said that I will take this, but I will not vote the APC. And then there's another one with the wine here. I mean, I don't know what to call this if this is not inducement. Well, in the meantime, the presidential campaign of the All Progressives Congress held its rally at the Gombe Township Stadium on Monday, where the party's flag bearer, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, told supporters that if given the opportunity to lead the country, the people of the state will witness development in such a way that would make Gombe State one of the richest in the country, and urged them to vote for the APC at both the federal and state levels.
Wow.
Well, over the weekend, the APC flag bearer was welcomed by a massive crowd in Kebbi State, where they held their rally to canvass for votes. Tinubu promised to industrialize the state.
Wow. Anyway, that's for APC. You can hear the threats.
Next, yeah, let's take a look.
What our opponent do? You take your PVC on the 25th of January. Just go to the vote with your PVC on top. President, APC, BEM.
Rufai, Ben. All right. Do you think it's next year or the 3 weeks ago that he meant? Quickly.
I'm nursing the ambition to say this might be doctored.
Yeah, okay.
I'm nursing that ambition. But
Okay.
you see,
Or swag.
It might be a swag,
Okay,
you know,
nice.
we don't know,
Bem.
you know, Bem, yeah. Or it might be, you know, a way of humor, you know, just to be able to. But I want to say something about what is happening in the Igbara community. There are many communities where people are being forced to vote for certain political parties, are being threatened against their will, but the authority should do more. Labour Party supporters were attacked in the rally. Have we heard a lot of arrests? Nothing. There were copious notes of police officers standing in front, looking at people being attacked, and they did nothing about this. If we want to build this country, have good elections, the police must stand tall and not be seen as partisan.
Very quickly, Ayo, 1 second.
Just 1 second. I think INEC also has a responsibility in terms of vote buying and inducement. Maybe they need to clearly define what is that. We've seen bags of rice, we've seen party logos clearly pasted on it, and nothing is being done. INEC has to sit up.
All right, then. Well, thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on what's trending. That's all I...
Yeah. Yes. As I was saying, yeah. As I was saying, we cannot see what has been happening. What has been happening. I mean, as I said, we don't counter to threat. We don't counter to threat. We are far above that. Far above that. Okay. So all the obedience, all the people that want to vote for Labour Party for Obi, don't let them threaten you. It's their threat cannot do anything. Let's do the right thing. You have just 11 days to go, or 10 days to go, rather. Do the right thing. Don't say your vote. Make your vote count. It's important we take the country out from this mess it is right now. If I see that video I wanted to play, it was talking that they should go out and vote on the 5th of January. Is it next year? Or what is he saying? We need people that know what they are saying, that can comprehend things easily. People is old. They should go and rest. All right. So, guys, as you watch, kindly follow our page. Kindly share the video, like the video, make comments, and follow our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our page, our Instagram. It's important. I will be doing this. Will do my part till the election time. All right. And those that's what I call people back home. They should do the right thing. Let them do the right thing. It's important they do the right thing. Okay, that is all I have to say for today. Maybe I'll just play a video of one of the spokesperson for the obedience. I'll do that tomorrow. Okay. All right, guys. I think I have to stop here now. Or let me just play the video. But for me, I would say it's good night now. Then I'll play the video. It's about 20 minutes long or so, or less than 15 minutes. I'll just play it. You listen to it. Then from there, I will close up. But as you watch, kindly share the video. Kindly share the video. Make comments, like, and let it happen. Okay. Let me play the video. Let me just play the video. Support. Let me play the video. Right. All right. Yeah.
In relation to that, from the National Secretariat's hosting of your candidate later today?
the first thing that we must understand is that given the fact that we have no structures and we have only about 4 children sat in a room somewhere tweeting away, from time to time, our candidate has had a need to remind those who are not on Twitter that they still have votes, which they must necessarily cast on the 25th of the month. This has, of course, seen us transversing the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. Mr. Gregory Peter Obi went as far as go to places where nobody has gone to campaign in years, places like Biu, places like Mubi, because there are Nigerians living there. So wherever Nigerians are, wherever they might live, before you might be related to someone, you must be able to see and feel their afflictions. So Mr. Obi has been going everywhere Nigerians are, however inconvenient or even sometimes pretty unsafe, like his trip to southern Borno, for instance, where he was told expressly by security people that they were unwilling to follow him because these were bandit and Boko Haram territory that they considered unsafe. And these are parts of Nigeria where Nigerians in their millions, thousands, they still live. They have to eke out a living in the parched land that has been abandoned by government itself. So he went to those places just as he went to Alaba Market, as we have pointed out, and just as he equally went to Computer Village. And he will continue. These are part and parcel of the attempt to continue to let Nigerians understand the critical nature of the coming election. I was, perhaps, I wouldn't call it privileged, but let me just say that I was, well, constrained to sit down and watch the performance of the man who is speaking for this current government and the one that is looking to take over from it. And these performances are sufficient to educate Nigerians as to the fact that elections have consequences. And I thank channels for giving us this, despite all the network challenges you had in the course of that. So essentially, we are focused, both the candidate, ourselves speaking for him, average Nigerian who understands what are at stake, the things that are at stake in this election. We're simply focused on taking our messages to Nigerians. Elections have consequences. You must vote for competence above ethnicity and religion. And yes, records matter. We have a 7.5-year record, almost 8 years record now, of course, of General Buhari. What we've watched this morning, the buck passing, the illustration of dysfunction in its worst form, where you are having, look, it's almost like we're sat on top of a refuse dump where we've all lost our senses of smell. So when people come around and as Goebbels begins to repeat nauseating things that should not be normalized to the point where they excuse it, dice it, cut it, Nigerians must become wiser. These are our own messages in the days. So people will be doing transfer seasoning in the political market.
Let's stick with the Labour Party before we begin to go to national issues. Where you've recorded gains, there are also some records of losses. We've read in the papers how Southwest leaders have jettisoned your party. Their concern is that your party has no support base required to win the election. In fact, one of the quotes from one of the leaders of the party is to the extent that Labour Party cannot get up to 1,000 votes. How much damage has that done to your chances of harvesting votes in the southwestern region of the country?
The first thing that is embedded in the question you have asked is a complete misunderstanding of the nature of the Obidati movement. You have a complete misunderstanding of it. The so-called Southwest leaders of the Labour Party who have decamped in what I was already explaining is the transfer market in the political season. Question you have to ask yourself is this: if somebody has come out to tell you that, oh, the Labour Party, that they are the Southwest leaders, is incapable of delivering more than 1,000 votes, then that tells you the quality of persons that they themselves are. The Labour Party of today is not the Labour Party of 6 months ago, before which all these ones that position themselves as career politicians who sell party tickets. That explains the problem the Labour Party has across the length and breadth of the Southwest, particularly where Jagaban PLC has always planted these people so that they act as surrogates in election time. When somebody has lost the party ticket, either that was in AC, ACN, or in this APC, they conveniently fly to the Labour Party of yesteryears. But that Labour Party is already giving way to a new Labour Party. So what the Labour Party you see today is not unlike the old NADECO, where people with disparate interests but who share the same strategic objectives come together because there is a pressing need to effect change, to change the direction of the country. We've all had to perhaps scale down our expectations in some ways, learn to, because we cannot build coalitions. How do you go about the business of having a revolution? And make no mistake about it, the Nigeria we have today is one that demands that we must give up our personal interest, make sure that we focus our attention and our entire energies on rescuing the country. We can have our ideological squabbles later on, but that is as it relates to the Labour Party of today. The persons you are talking about, who are they? Exactly how many people have they? I don't even know the name of a single one of these persons. I am a typical case in point. I speak for the Obi presidential campaign. I'm not a member of the Labour Party. I'm a member of Afenifere. Afenifere is an integral part of the Obi presidential project. Now, in the Southwest, Afenifere says it is speaking for a presidential candidate. The same Afenifere that some people who are so desperate to gain his endorsement that they were busy acting movies in Akure. That same Afenifere now says is standing behind a person, and that person is the person it considers worthy of support in this electoral cycle, and it places its credibility and demands for restructuring of Nigeria, which is a lodestone of Yoruba demand. And he then says that this is the person that we are supporting, and then you are talking about some Southwest leaders of Afenifere and of Labour Party.
Of Labour Party. Mr. Motosho, it's interesting that you don't know these individuals. They are members of your party. There's a certain Omotosho that is named in the report. But if you don't know, if you claim not to know these individuals, we'll have to take your word for it as one of the leaders of the Labour Party. But you talked about rescuing. You talked about rescuing Nigeria. Let's make progress.
I'm sorry. You misrepresented the fact, and I need to correct you. Number one, I have made clear I am not a member of the Labour Party. I am a member of Afenifere. Afenifere is part of the Obi presidential project. Let's be clear about that. Now, I equally make efforts to let you understand that in the Obi presidential project, there are several interest groups whose overarching interest is the salvation of Nigeria and the liberation of its people, who have come together. This is not only Afenifere, this is PANDEF, this is Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum, this is Ohaneze Ndigbo, and this is all the separate and different nationalities that has been meeting under SMPLF, coming together to say, this is the person we believe will fulfill our aspirations. These are not persons who are ordinarily members of the Labour Party, but they've come into the Labour Party because that is where Obi is, and that is where we've all found a political platform for the actualization of the emergency situation in which we are, which is rescue this country.
So, Mr. Farotimi, does that then say, just a quick one on that, does that then say that there is a political arrangement of sorts between the Labour Party and the Afenifere and PANDEF and the rest of it that you just mentioned? Is there any kind of arrangement, formal or informal?
Between who and who?
between Afenifere and all of that and the Labour Party? Because Mr. Obi is not on the ballot as himself. He is on the ballot as a candidate of the Labour Party. So what's the arrangement?
Look, as I see, if you are working in a coalition, there must be a common interest. The common interest for everybody, including the Labour Party, which is working in tandem with the Obi campaign, is that Nigeria needs to be rescued. Now, that is without prejudice to the fact that there are operatives within the Labour Party itself who had been there long before Obi became a candidate of the party, and who had been there for reasons best known to themselves, perhaps positioning themselves for today's political transfer season. Because I cannot understand how a person stays within a party. He says it's the South, they say they are the Southwest leaders, and the same persons come out to say that they have a good candidate like Peter Gregory Obi to sell. And they are so impotent at doing this job that they self-indict themselves and tell you that they can only come up with 1,000 votes.
Mr. Farotimi, I'd like you to please, conclude on that arrangement. What's the political arrangement between these interest groups that you talk about?
There is no political arrangement. That's the point I'm making to you. When you talk about a political arrangement, you're suggesting that these people have some special interest over and above that of the average Nigerians. No. We all identified over 2 years ago that there are critical issues plaguing Nigeria and that these issues needed to be tackled. We came out with our position publicly. I'm talking about the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum, which comprises of Ohaneze, Afenifere, PANDEF, and the Middle Belt Forum. All four, we came together over 2 years ago, and we were speaking publicly to the need for power shift. After a point, we also came together. We spoke to the need for power to shift for the sake of equity and justice to the Southeast. All this time, nobody was focusing on Peter Obi. So we had already taken a position, and when we found the person who fit the bill in relation to competence, who fits the bill in relation to equity, who fits the bill in relation to justice, who fits the bill in understanding the need to take another look at the governance of this country and make it work for the Nigerian people, we as a collective supported him. He was in Labour Party, so of course, we went into the party with him, not necessarily as card-carrying members of the Labour Party, but in recognition of the fact that the Labour Party presents an opportunity and a platform for the actualization of these ideals that we had been speaking to all these years. Good. If he had remained in the PDP, maybe not, we may or may not have supported him. He may or may not be the ones we would even have been supporting. But today, based on the realities, the objective realities on the ground, he is in the Labour Party.
Okay, well, let's speak to a hypothetical Peter Obi presidency. What would be the role of an Afenifere, of a PANDEF and all of that in the political arrangement or governance arrangements? Since you went in there because, as you said, there is an interest about rebuilding Nigeria.
It's a fair question to ask. Our belief is that we would operate, and I have come out publicly to say this, even on your channel, we are not in this looking for political posts, but we are in this believing that Nigeria needs and requires change. So if a Gregory Peter Obi should win the presidency, we intend to hold him to each and every one of the words he has given to the Nigerian people in relation to the governance of Nigeria.
The question then is how? How will that happen? How? Yes.
The highest office in the land in this country today, or in any country that will progress, is the office of the citizen. We are citizens of Nigeria. We have not done a political deal saying give us this number of offices or We intend to remain in our space as citizens of Nigeria and hold him accountable to his words. He has given his words in public. He is the most interviewed presidential candidate in the history of this country. He has placed himself out there. He's gone out there. He has words that he has spoken in the public spaces. These words must count for something. In speaking those words, he wasn't speaking to Afenifere or to Dele. He was speaking to me, Dele Parotimi, when he's speaking on your channel, when he's speaking to the people in your clip, in the market, he's speaking to Nigerians. It is the words that he has given that we intend to hold him to. And if he fails to deliver on those words, it is our intention to make sure that we oppose him or anyone else who do not live by their words that they are freely given to Nigeria.
Speaking of his ability to deliver, I'm glad you situated, the context of the participation of Pandef, Afenifere, and the other groups in the identification with the Labour Party and its presidential candidate. And you talked about, the need for equity and justice to, have the presidency emerge from the Southeast this time around. In relation to that, some would say that you would know what a person would do by what he had done in the past. And some would say in relation to that, your candidate's exit from APGA and the lack of consensus in the Southeast as we speak today on a Southeast presidency doesn't particularly give one cause for optimism about, his ability to unify Nigeria or even the possibility of his emergence on the ticket.
You are falling victim to the danger of the one-sided narrative. In the first place, Nigeria is a place where political parties have not developed along the lines of ideology. It's always been that political parties, unfortunately, in Nigeria today, are essentially platforms for the contestation of elections. Now, Mr. Gregory Peter Obi wanted to be the governor of Anambra State to make a change. The PDP was the behemoth running riot in the political space in the Southeast and had been in place since 1999. APGA was a minority party, but he joined that party because that was the party that offered the platform for engagement with the people. He gained power as an APGA governor, and he remained an APGA governor until the end of his tenure. Now, in ruling in Anambra State, he had to deal with a House of Assembly completely peopled by PDP people. I will leave out that history because it's not relevant, but you know it. He survived that. He spent his time working for the people, and he built a legacy of integrity and service. That is the basis upon which the like of me can engage with him today. Now, when you speak to the fact that there are divisions in the Southeast, that there might be no unanimity of support for him, I'll remind you that I'm a Yoruba man. My mother is from Fiditi in Oyo. My father is from Imesile in Ijesha land. Nobody is more Yoruba than me. And yet, I am here speaking clearly, particularly against the candidacy of the person called Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let's be clear, this is not about tribe. It's about Nigeria. The fact that not enough of us have owned Nigeria, but more of us have owned our tribes and our religion is the reason why Nigeria is in the mess that it is in today. The Southeast is not going to be monolithic. There will be people in the Southeast who will not support Peter Obi, and that's their prerogative. There would also be people in the Southwest who will not support Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's our prerogative, and that's as it should be. There has rarely ever been a point in time where there has been a tribal consensus in this third republic about leaving power for anybody. We are not concerned about tribal consensuses. We took our position based on the justice and equity of the situation. What the Southeast does as a bloc is entirely up to the citizens who comprises of the Southeast. We have taken our own positions based on what we believe is best for Nigeria. We believe our Ndigo brothers and sisters would equally do what is necessary on the 25th of February. But we have taken our positions based on conscience and conviction.
It will be interesting to see how that plays out, how much support he will garner across board, to see that unanimity that you talk about, either it be in the Southeast region or the Southwest region. There are other dimensions to the conversation, Mr. Farotimi, but we must leave it here. And thank you profusely for your time and thoughts on the program. Mr. Dele Farotimi.
And if you notice,
Mr.
If you notice, we didn't have any network issues.
Yes, we did not. Mr. Dele Farotimi is the spokesperson Obi Dati Presidential Campaign Council. Yeah, there's more to talk about on the verdict 2023, but that'll be after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right, good night.